Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Zen. In most of my 15-minute videos, I show you how to make a tangle that we repeat on the page using the Zentangle method of drawing. Today, however, is more of a doodle. So I'm just going to show you how to draw a cute little gnome, and we will put a tangle in his hat. But the rest of it is just me showing you how to draw a gnome. So hopefully you enjoy it. Today I'm using a Micron PN plastic nib pen. I've got a graphite pencil for shading and a blending tool. I'm using a 2" by 2" tile from Zentangle.com. It's very small, so feel free to use the larger tiles or a sketchbook, whatever you have on hand. I've also got this cute little gnome here for inspiration. Okay, we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to start by picking up my pencil, and I'm going to put a line at the halfway point of my tile. I'm just kind of guessing. And I always like to draw the gnome's nose first. So I'm going to draw his nose, and it's going to go a little bit over the line, and then the rest of it is going to go under that center line. And I'm going to make it about the width, let's see, about the width of my fingernail. It's a little bit over the line and more of it under the line. And because we're doing it in pencil, we can just kind of round it out. Make it how you'd like. And then for his hat today, I'm going to do a curve. So I'm going to come down on one side of his nose and go out to the other, leaving some space on both sides. And I'm not dipping below his nose, so I'm keeping it, it's rounded, but doesn't dip too low. And I'm going to go out on both sides just a little bit. And I'm going to follow that line. I'm not going to make this too wide because I want room for the cool part of his hat. This is just the brim. And then for his hat, I'm going to go in a little bit on both sides, and I'm going to go up at an angle and up at an angle on this side. Then I'm going to curve a little bit and go right across and connect those. All right, we're going to keep continuing in pencil, and then we'll go back and ink this in when we're done. So for the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a tiny space at the bottom, but then I'm going to come up and I'm going to make his 2 shoes. So to make his shoes, I'm going to put 2 little lines and little bumps like that. And the rest of the space is for his big beard. So his beard is going to come out, not at the very end. I'm going to go in a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of round it out on both sides. And then I'm going to make this little curve in on both sides. And curve, let me see. Yeah, curve in and then come down towards those shoes. I might need to make mine a little bit wider. I do need to make mine wider because I want it to come on the outside of those shoes. Does that make sense? Good thing we did it in pencil. And I'm going to come right down to the shoe, and then I'm going to take my line and go over both shoes like his beard is so big that it drapes over his shoes and comes out the other side. And then I just connect those. So go ahead and mess with the beard if you want, make it a little wider. Whatever you think looks good. All right, for the arms for this one, I'm gonna make them going up. That's why I left a little bit of space over here. So I'm gonna have one little short line right under his hat and one little line below that. And I'm actually gonna make that one go like skinny and then out a little bit wider, if that makes sense. There's these two little rectangle shapes for his arm. You can make them as wide as you want. And then for his hands, I'm gonna do like a mitten. So I'm just gonna give it a thumb and then a big wide part for the rest of his hand. Again, this is just our sketch. It should be nice and light, so you can change it if you need to. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a curve. He's going to be holding a garland, and I'm going to go from his little thumb on this side, going down across the center of his beard, and back up to that other thumb. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and switch to pen. You can keep going in pencil if you want to, but I'm going to switch over. Okay, so with my pen, I'm going to start with that nose. And I'm just going to ink in the size that I want it. And I like to put a little reflection on his nose, make it look rounded. And then I'm going to do that bottom curve of the hat. A little bit out on both sides. And then following it across the top. Don't ink in everything yet, because we still have some things to do before we put ink on all of it. I'm going to ink in the sides of his hat, curve or round the top a little bit, and connect those. Then I'm going to add a little buckle just above his nose and above the brim, just by making a rectangle with a rectangle on the inside. And again, I want to leave enough room up here to put a pattern, so I didn't make that too big. Then I'm going to ink in his shoes next. And after I outline them, I'm going to fill them in with black ink. If you want to leave a little reflection on them, you can. And now I'm going to go under his nose where I made that little string. And on top of the string right in the center, I'm going to put a little heart. And I'm going to make a shamrock by making a heart on top and a heart on each side with a little stem. And then over here towards the end of his beard, I'm going to do a little heart. I make it kind of tall. And then put one on each side with a stem. And one more over here. Now before I forget, I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to ink in this little strip where his buckle is. Then we've got a bit of that dark on the bottom where his shoes are. And some at the top, and I'm going to ink in that center part as well. Okay, next is his beard. So I'm just going to find the lines that I ended up liking. Jump over his shoes. Then I'm going to draw in his arms. And I'm going to add a stripe on his sleeve, just because I have the room. And those little mitten shapes. And I'm going to fill in that garland by starting at his thumb and coming right across everything I drew, but then jumping over those little shamrocks. Back up to the other thumb. And then I'm going to imagine this part going behind his hand and curly cueing down. So this one I'm going to imagine coming down and just leaving a little end piece. He's really quite cute. All right, we're almost at our 15-minute mark already. Okay, so for his hat, I'm going to do crescent moon without coloring in the bottom part of crescent moon. So crescent moon is a series of these, oops, sorry, little guy, of these little bumps. And then we go over the bump and then over it again. So without coloring in that middle part, it looks like a little rainbow, which I thought would be so cute for his hat. So then I'm just going to draw more. I'm going to fill up this whole area. So I'm going to put a little bump over here. And aura it 2 times. Aura just means I'm making a line alongside the first line. Do one right here. And these can all bump into each other. So this one is kind of a half of one. And that's okay. Turn them a little bit. These little things can go sideways if you'd like. And I'm just lifting my pen each time I get to one that's already there. Isn't that cute? I love that he's wearing like a little rainbow hat. Feel free to put anything you want in here. It doesn't have to be these little crescent moons. So here I've got kind of a funny space. So I'm going to put one coming out of the top Then fill it in kind of the opposite way. And if you end up with extra space, just add another little line as if that rainbow had more. So cute. I'm not sure yet if I want to do his brim in that same thing or just kind of leave it. I feel like I should do the same thing. I feel like it needs to match. So I'm just going to put a little series of those in here. Just to fill that in. He's so cute. We got that done in 15 minutes. All right, last thing I want to add though, before I do some color, is I want to come out of his little buckle here, and I want to just make a line off to the side and put another one of those clovers by making 3 hearts. And then I'm going to add another one that just has fescue, which is just this little, a line with this little thing at the end. I'm going to do another one. Looks like he stuck those in his hat before he went out for the day. Okay, so he is done, unless you want to add some color. So I just have a green little marker from, I don't know, like a Dollar General or something. And I'm going to put green on his mittens and his sleeves. Maybe just his sleeves. I don't even know. And I'm going to put green in these shamrocks. And I'm going to put green on his buckle. And the shamrock coming out of his hat. So that's all the green I'm going to add, but I am going to do a little bit of shading. So for the shading, I want to go under his hat, like there's a little shadow maybe over his beard. So I'm going to put a little bit of graphite under there and then around his nose. Just a little bit. And soften that by pushing it out. It gives him a little bit of shadow. Then my blending tool has some graphite on it, so I'm going to put some on the outside edges of his beard and maybe next to his little shamrocks, just to give a shadow on his beard. Now I'm going to do the whole inside of this hat on the edges. So I'm going around the edges, putting it just inside. Giving that a little bit of dimension. And then the inside of the big part of the hat. Even over that little strap and buckle. And pushing that out towards the center. And that helps his hat look not so flat and maybe just a little bit rounded. That's so cute. Now, if you'd like to add colors, I just grabbed 3 colors from my pile, and you can, fill in these little rainbows if you'd like. You don't have to. But it's kind of fun. You guys are so much better at adding color than I am. You get the idea. Starts to look like cereal, like Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms, with all the color. Anyway, he's so cute. Initial your work, and on the back, write the date, write something going on in your life this week, and enjoy your St. Patrick's Day week, and enjoy making this adorable little gnome. Please share on my Facebook page called Let's Tangle, and I'd love to see your work. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.